Well, NBC News has a scoop out today about that group, about how that paper, the Epoch Times, has transformed itself a lot in the Trump era. It's a real revelation, this reporting from NBC News. I mean, Epoch Times and its media group, they've made themselves into a whole new thing entirely and in a very big way. Over the last 6 months, the single largest organization that has spent more money on Facebook ads promoting Donald Trump and Donald Trump's reelection is, as you might expect, the Donald Trump reelection campaign. The organization that is second on that list, though, is this Falun Gong newspaper, the Epoch Times. Quote, by the numbers, there is no bigger advocate of President Donald Trump on Facebook than the Epoch Times. The small New York-based nonprofit news outlet has spent more than $1.5 million in the last 6 months on about 11,000 pro-Trump advertisements, according to data from Facebook's advertising archive. More than any organization outside the Trump campaign itself, and more than most Democratic presidential candidates have spent on their own campaigns. So why is this little special interest newspaper becoming the biggest online booster of Donald Trump's reelection other than Donald Trump's reelection campaign itself? Well, it's apparently their new business model. Here, for example, is their list of special offers showing what you get when you subscribe to the Epoch Times. You get 2 exclusive gifts valued at $34. One is a special report from the Epoch Times titled American Revival, about 70 ways Donald Trump has changed the nation. And you better believe they're all for the good. So you get this big glossy centerfold love note thing about how wonderful Donald Trump is. That's one of the presents you get if you subscribe to this newspaper. The other thing you get is a large Spygate infographic poster. So you can put it up your wall and track the conspiracy at home. Conspiracy in this case being something about Donald Trump saving America from satanic Democratic pedophiles. Also something Sally Yates, something John McCain, something Donna Brazile. Anyway, that's part of your $34 value gift if you just subscribe to the paper. They're also quite desperate to make sure that you subscribe to their various social media channels.
Click on that button below and try the Epoch Times newspaper for a month for just $1. That way you can get real news delivered to your doorstep and experience the wonder of pure American journalism that's based in traditional values. Just click on that button below.
As NBC News puts it, this whole shift toward Trump and specifically Trump conspiracy theory stuff has been a financial transformation for this little corner of the We Are Mad at China niche protest news outlet. But it is really paying off for them. Quote, before 2016, the Epoch Times generally stayed out of U.S. politics unless they dovetailed with Chinese interests. The publication's recent ad strategy, coupled with the broader campaign to embrace social media and conservative U.S. politics, and Trump in particular, has doubled the Epoch Times' revenue, according to the organization's tax filings. And when it comes to their revenue, what seems to be really driving things are the parts of the Epoch Media Group that are producing online-only content under an entity called the New Tang Dynasty. Their YouTube channel is all stuff like this. QAnon, why it's not a conspiracy theory, handsome picture of Donald Trump. Also, tentacles of the deep state exposed. Also, why drug epidemic was engineered by deep state. Also, how the deep state funds caravan and chaos in the United States. This is a good one. Deep state, 13 bloodlines and their diabolical endgame, tentacles of the deep state. So the newspaper that until very recently just promoted the interests of the dissident Chinese religious movement is now whole hog on board, both in its newspaper and its related media entities, with all of the completely around the bend, pro-Trump, intergalactic conspiracy theory stuff. Literally about, drinking the blood of sacrificed children and the Illuminati and their persistent, terrifying bloodlines. Alongside all the explicitly pro-Trump stuff and this kind of stuff, there's also just like traditional grade A American paranoia brain rot stuff, like how Ted Bundy, the serial killer, was groomed by the deep state for politics but he branched off into being a serial killer. Also, how the deep state is hiding the true science of astrology. And as you might expect, naturally, there's the 9/11 stuff.
The people did not die in 9/11 in the planes, okay? They landed and then they were resuscitated, and then at that point you get brought into these underground bases and you spend the rest of your life working. You're never going to see above ground again. That's where most likely these people from 9/11 went.
Now, granted, you might think that sounds crazy, but if so, it's only because the lizard people are blocking your third eye vision so the deep state can tap your microchip in ways that make you control the caravan and Mike Flynn, the Clintons, deep state climate change agenda, etc. I mean, you know what I mean. It's easy. It's sometimes fun to trace American conspiracy stuff around the ragged edges of right-wing media. But this media entity, from which I just showed you all that stuff, this media entity is right now the largest source of paid pro-Trump content on Facebook, other than the Trump reelection campaign. And their pro-Trump effort on Facebook at this point is larger than any Facebook effort made by any Democratic presidential candidate at all. The Epic Media Group is doing all of this stuff. They are also being given interviews with Trump daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, and Trump cabinet officials, and pro-Trump Republican members of Congress like Matt Gaetz and Mark Meadows. They're all doing Epic Times stuff to promote them, since they're getting the kind of promotion that they want, too. I mean, this is as big as it gets in pro-Trump media right now, where the people from 9/11 are still to this day living in secret underground cities, toiling as slaves to Hillary Clinton or something Illuminati. NBC's scoop today is titled "Trump, QAnon, and an Impending Judgment Day: Behind the Facebook-Fueled Rise of the Epoch Times." The subject of this reporting appeared to be quite furious with it today, but one of the reporters who got to the bottom of this very weird story is going to join us in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC.